as some of you may have known, I had a tenant move out of one of my rentals and kind of left it in not great condition. And so I've been working on getting that fixed. And so I hired this cleaning company to go in on Friday to do some cleaning. And, speaking of decision making, as I was looking at all the different cleaning companies in my local area, there were a few of them. And I started to look at different reviews, and I was like, oh, which one do I go with? And I had the thought, I said, just pick one and see how they do. And worst case scenario, you don't hire them again if they don't do a good job. But that'd be a good way to make a decision, just to take action and see how it turns out. So I took action and hired one, and the lady said, okay, well, she'll be there from 2 to 8 on Friday. And I said, how much is it going to cost? She said, $35 an hour. And I said, okay, that's fine. And I sent her a video of the unit because, it was pretty messy and some things that are not super pleasant that she was going to have to clean. So Friday comes, and she goes and gets the work done. Saturday I get a bill, and the bill was for 11 hours of work. And so I emailed this lady, and I was like, hey, I thought she was only going to work 6 hours. And she's like, yeah, well, I know we had agreed on 6 hours, but it was dirtier than she thought, and so she worked an extra whatever. I said, okay, well, that's interesting that you went beyond what we'd agreed on and charged me more without talking to me, but whatever. So then I go to the rental units, and I had told this lady that, the highest priority was a deep clean of the kitchen, and then if she could get that done, then she could move on to the bathrooms. And I get there, and the fridge was cleaned out, but the outside of the fridge hadn't been wiped down at all. All the cupboards were still grimy and dirty on the outside. One of the shelves hadn't been wiped out. The fan was dirty. The walls, half of them had been wiped, half of them had not been wiped. And then I go into the bathroom, and she had scrubbed the shower down and done a really good job on the shower, but the bathroom wasn't clean. So none of the rooms got deep cleaned. None of the rooms got completed. And I got charged more than I'd expected. And I was like, wow, that's kind of a bummer. But here's the upside of the story, and this is the other example of a different way we can do work. Because as I saw this lady's work, and I thought, this is underwhelming. This is an example of not just not going the extra mile, but not even completing the first mile. Napoleon Hill mentioned, in every apparent setback lies the seed of an equal or greater advantage. So this tenant moving out to me is a little bit of a setback. Well, my wife noticed in one of our local neighborhood groups that there was a young married couple with kids, who'd asked if there was anything they could do for extra money over the weekend. And my wife mentioned it to me, and I said, yeah, I would love to hire them and come have them help me. So I reached out to them, and then Saturday morning, those two and me were over there cleaning and doing the rest of the work that should have been done. And while we were there, I showed the husband some things outside that needed to be done, but it was raining, so I said, you don't have to do them now, maybe later next week you can come back. I'd like this ramp taken down and like this box built over this area here. Well, we get done, I pay them, Saturday night comes, and I get a text from the husband with pictures, and he said, hey, we went back over there for about an hour and a half, got the ramp all torn down, got the box built, here's the pictures. And I was blown away, over the moon thrilled that they had done that. It took a huge load of stress off me to have that done, and I didn't expect them to do it. I thought maybe next week, maybe we can tackle it. But no, they went back over there that day, got it done in an hour and a half, which was less time than I thought it would have taken. And I was like, wow, this is an example of pleasing the customer. This is an example of going the extra mile. And I said, I am definitely going to hire these guys in the future and pay them more. I'm happy to pay them more. And I was just so excited that happened. And so I just wanted to share those two examples of how people show up in the world, and the difference when we decide to go the extra mile and do the best job that we can. It secures future prosperity. It secures future opportunities rather than cutting them off, which is what's going to happen for this first cleaning company. Even though the lady wrote me back and argued with me about why I was even asking, why it wasn't turned out. I said, what, I'm not even going to argue with you. I'm going to send you your money, and then you're never going to hear from me again. And that's what happens to people who don't do the job that should be done.